Look what crazy stone I found! It's full of math equations! Who put this here?
Ntelis, actually Delhi in Turkish, means crazy. Pierros, actually Pierros in Greek, means rock. Calculus in Latin means small rock or pebble. Etymologically, calculus also comes from the ancient Greek word khalix or chalikas or chaliki. It means also small rock. Mathematicians such as Leibniz and Newton were using this word to talk about a way of counting or calculating, as at the time they were using that. But apparently also ancient mathematicians were doing the same thing, but rephrasing in a slightly different way. By the way, calculus in Chinese is wei ji fen. So the late translation of the sentence Ntelis Pierros searches calculi is the crazy rock searches rocks. So it was destined to find this type of new rock, new calculus. And apparently there are plenty out there, and us mathematicians were trying to identify them. Let's talk about this. A foundational analysis of kernel-based calculus. So we talk about calculus, kernel-based calculus. Let's start from the standard local calculus. The standard local derivative dx of a function f of x is defined as the limit of a delta x small quantity of change of x goes to 0 of the fraction of the function of evaluated at x plus the small change delta x minus the function evaluated at x over this small change delta x. Now the standard local chain rule is the operator, differential operator dx applied on f of g of x, and this means that you have to take the derivative of f of g in respect of g, dg f of g, times dx of g of x. Now the standard local integral is defined as the integral operator ix of the function f of x as the integral, the infinitesimal summation, continuous summation of dx of the function f of x. Now the fundamental theorem of calculus, or FTC, is defined as the integral operator of the differential operator of f of x as follows. The integral from x minimum to x maximum of the differential operator d of x on the function f of x is basically the function evaluated at the x maximum minus the function evaluated at the x minimum. Now, if we look the picture at the foundation analysis level of the kernel-based calculus, or AFA-KEC, we find the following. We define the local kernel-based derivative, which is the operator dx f alpha, capital F, on the function f of x, small f. And this is the limit of this small change, delta x going to 0, of this fraction f evaluated at x plus some small distance delta x times a function f capital of the function at x, comma, some parameter alpha, minus the function evaluated at x over the small change of x. Now this means it has some implication to the chain rule. So we have the kernel-based chain rule, which is defined as follows. If we take the operator of f alpha of x applied to the small f of g of x, then we have to basically apply the differential operator, kernel-based differential operator dg of f alpha onto f of g, and then we need to apply the kernel-based derivative of f alpha in respect of x on g of x times the inverse of this function evaluated at g of x and some parameter alpha. Then we can define the kernel-based integral, which is basically the if alpha of x on the function f of x, and this gives us a new kind of measure, which is the kernel-based integral, which implied that we should define this infinitesimal element df alpha of x, which is basically dx over f of x alpha, and then we can apply it to a function f of x. Now, then this has implication to the fundamental theorem of calculus. Now we have to talk about the fundamental theorem of local kernel-based calculus, FTLKEC. And this is defined as follows. Basically, the integral from x minimum to x maximum of this df alpha x, or dx over fx alpha on the derivative of the function df alpha x of f of x is basically the function at x maximum minus the function of x minimum, and this can be simply proved by applying the previous definitions. We can simply get the result that we have previously found also in Fundamental Theorem of Calculus. Therefore, from this kind of picture, the standard local calculus, we can find the foundational picture of a kernel-based calculus that looks like this. Therefore, this is one novel concept that I introduced in the literature, and of course there are way more of these kind of objects that you can find by yourself. So tell me in the comments which kind of calculus are you familiar with and the one that you would like to discuss further. If you like it, subscribe for more. Thank you.